Hi everyone, this is Valerie from Stampin' with Valerie, and today's video is going to feature the Feels Like Frost suite from the new holiday catalog. If you haven't received one from me and you want one, you just need to private message me with your address and I will get one to you. So the beautiful thing about this stamp set is everything. The paper though, the paper is amazing. I'm going to open it. I know I showed you on a video earlier what this was like, but the one side of it has all these gorgeous nature photos with ice and snow and trees and things like that, and then the other side are all silver and white prints, which is fantastic. Worked out beautifully for this project. I will show you the card. I'm going to set the stamp set aside, and this is the card. We are going to use gray granite cardstock, and we are going to use some vellum cardstock and also some of the, I want to make sure I get the right, it Feels Like Frost Designer Series paper. I wanted to make sure I had the right name for that. So I'm just going to move our inks. We're going to use the new Silver Delicata ink that we sell. I believe that's how you pronounce it, and Night of Navy ink. I'm just going to set the card over here to the side. I'm going to get our cardstock here, and we're just going to have it folded in half. And if I can find my bone folder, because you know, got too many things on my desk. There's my bone folder. Go ahead and give it a good fold. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp on this cardstock. So we're going to start with the Night of Navy, and I did one of these little sprigs at the top and one at the bottom. I kind of did this one off, but I think when I do the silver on this one, I'll do it the exact opposite. So I just want to clean that before I dip it in the silver, because obviously we don't want any silver in our, or any Night of Navy in our silver ink. Now what I did find with this silver ink, you can clean it on the chamois. Works just fine. I'm just going to kind of go off the bottom, just kind of do the opposite. Now I'm going to hold this up so hopefully you can see it a little better in the camera. So maybe I'm going to turn it just a little bit so you can see the shine of that silver. It's hard to see when it's on camera like this, so I want to make sure you can see it. And then of course I'm going to pull out my chamois, and I'm going to show you now. It's really kind of gross because I use it all the time, and that's okay. That's what it's supposed to look like. But the silver ink just comes right off, and then when I'm done using my silver ink and I'm done cleaning it on the chamois, I wash the chamois out right away, and I haven't had any of the silver left over or the copper when I cleaned copper with it as well. So that's a tip to you. I'm sure you can use other methods, but for me that worked just fine. Now I used some of that paper, and here's the piece we're going to use for this one. And I used two of the Frosted Frames dies. I used this first one to cut out the Designer Series paper, and then I used this stitched frame one, and I cut out the vellum cardstock. But after I cut that vellum cardstock out, I cut it in half, so I have two pieces, one for the top and one for the bottom. We're going to go ahead and, sorry, I guess I didn't need to put my Night of Navy ink away yet. Go ahead and stamp this first, and I'm going to go toward the top because we want to leave the bottom for our silver sprigs that we're going to put on there. Once you have that stamped, just let it set for a minute and let it dry really good. I'm going to put this stamp onto the chamois and just let it sit there. Sometimes I just let it sit and then just wipe it off. It doesn't hurt it just to sit and dry either, because it will clean off on the chamois, but sometimes I just like to lay it on there. So before we even get started, I'm going to go, with flipping this over, I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of, this is the Seaside Spray metallic ribbon that is in the new holiday catalog. It is so sparkly with that silver in it. It's gorgeous. And I'm just going to tie a knot, and we just need a small one. We don't need it to be long at all. So I mean, even that is a little too long. But then I'm just going to trim it on an angle, and then we're going to go to the other side and trim that piece on an angle as well. So we have that to put on the front with our sprigs. Now I use as I'm saying, the sprig punch, and I've already punched some out. And I used the silver glimmer paper and cut out 2 of those, and those are going to go on the front here. That adds just a nice little touch of sparkle to it. So just flip your piece over once it's dry, and I put 2 dimensionals at the top and 2 at the bottom, 1 in each corner, and then peel those off right away, because what we're going to do is we're going to adhere that vellum to it, so it's going to give a little bit of dimension between the vellum and the layered piece that we have. And I like to flip it over and actually look at it so I know where I'm sticking the vellum at, so I know it's not poking out too far. And then we'll do the same with this top piece. And then we're going to add some more dimensionals, and these are just going to go right next to the vellum, not on the vellum, because you're not layering it up higher and higher. You can want the vellum to actually lay on the cardstock. So peel those off. And then we're going to take our snail adhesive, and I'm just going to run a small strip of snail adhesive in the center of that vellum between those dimensionals. Adhere that to the front of the card. I'm going to use some glue dots. This is a really, once you have everything cut, and it really doesn't take too long to cut the pieces, this card goes together really quickly, but it looks like you've spent hours on it because of all the detail that's in the paper, and then you've, cut it out with the dies. And then I just bring these in at the same time because I want to make sure they're kind of centered. I tried it just putting one and then adding the other, and I ended up really off course, off center. So I'm not going to do it that way. I want to do it this way. And then take your little bow, or your little knot, but it kind of looks like a little bow tie. Get a glue dot on there and stick that right on the front. Now, if you want, you can add a piece of Whisper white cardstock on the inside. What I did, and I did this before we started, was I went ahead and stamped that same image on the inside, and you could even cut out a piece of Whisper white cardstock depending on how long your message is going to be on the inside, using this little frame if you wanted, and that would actually fit right in between those. But if you did it, sorry, I let that fall, on Whisper white cardstock on this, you would get that gorgeous cutout on the inside as well. So it's up to you, however you want to do it. I thought it was fine just like this, because if I use a dark blue ink pen or a black ink pen, it's going to show up just beautifully. Make sure I get that folded a little bit more so it lays down. So there you have it. That is today's One Card Wonder Wednesday for Wednesday, August 21st, I believe it is. I'm recording this in advance, so let's hope I have the right date. Just getting back from out of town on the 21st, so I wanted to make sure I had a video for you all and a beautiful card to share. So I hope you have a great day today, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.